Hey everybody, welcome to my debut of I've Got Your Number. Sorry, trying to get the camera positioning right. This is what I was going to try to avoid, is getting the camera positioning right. So after a lot of encouraging from my friends, I did decide to do this, and I've also probably done about 7 or 8 videos, including this particular portion, because the lighting was wrong. And I'm also preparing for the zombie crawl tonight. So if you see that I have more makeup on in this portion as opposed to the rest of them, it's because I'm trying to get ready for it. But I didn't like the first one because the lighting was wrong. Okay, so enough about that. What we're going to do is we're going to do a numerology channel. And I had planned on starting this with teaching you guys how to do the numbers so we can all run along and figure out ourselves and all of our partners. And I have been pushed internally to start with Chris Watts and Shanann Watts and the girls. For those of you who don't know who Chris Watts is, he confessed to murdering his pregnant wife and his 2 daughters back in August of 2018. So this case is not going away. It kind of reached out to me profoundly for different reasons than other people's reasons. There were so many terms getting thrown around, and it catapulted me into, oh my God, Julian, please. This is Jules. It catapulted me into learning about different personality disorders, because narcissist, covert narcissist, all of these terms were getting thrown around, and I always thought that I knew what that meant, and I didn't. So as I dove into that, and I'm like, well, I need to learn more about this. What is this, Because I want to know why. Why did he do that? And I'm trying to wrap my mind around this, and I can't, because as sick-minded as I am, I'm not that sick. So I'm trying to figure this out. Well, as I learned about narcissistic personality disorder, I realized that I have had 3 very huge narcissistic relationships in my life. One when I was 18, one in my late 20s, and then one recent one. And now that I see it, I know that I will never repeat that again. I will never, ever do this again. I will spot the signs and run away. I always encourage anybody, anytime that you're hearing something getting repeated to you over and over again, I always feel like that's a sign from the gods that maybe you might want to research it. And YouTube's a great source for that for me. I can just get on there and listen to the doctors and the psychotherapists, find one that you resonate with and go there. So that started that for me. And I kept looking at this guy, and he looks like a normal guy. I think we have such a hard time putting him with the crime because he looks like somebody you know. He looks like somebody I know. And she seems like somebody that you know. You might recognize yourself in her. It's just so weird. And then you look at those little girls and you just think, what the hell? What happened there? It's very hard to wrap your mind around somebody who would do something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do their general numerology. So I'm going to go through their life lessons and their souls and their path of destiny. And what I found out is that Chris, Shanann, and Nicole, his mistress, all 3 had a 91 path of destiny, which is so hard to come across. A 91, that's a really odd number. I don't see a 91 very often. It's a very specifically odd number. Leads me to believe that this is predestined, and you all can shoot holes in my theory all day long. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. So there's more to come from this, and there's going to be more awareness brought out from this. We're just scratching the surface right now. But just look at how much dialogue has been opened and how much people actually care. And my goal is to encourage you to take a look at your own relationship. So we're going to cover all of that here today. So let's get started. Stay tuned. I just realized some of you are probably waiting for the punchline because I don't do serious videos. It's totally not what I do, right? But no, we are doing a serious video today. So let's go ahead and start with Chris's numerology, since that is the flavor of the day, right? There's two ways that you can do numerology as far as life lesson goes. We're going to take his birth, 5/16/1985. I like to take that whole number 16. So I take 5 plus 16 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 5, and I get a master number 44. Now, there's another way that you can do it, and I like to do it both ways and find out and ask the client which one that they resonate with better. So if I take 5 plus 1 plus 6, born on the 16th, I can relate. Not to the murder part, to being born on the 16th. There's two different numbers I can come up with. I can come up with a 44, or I can come up with a 35. And what's weird is I get the 44 from him as far as needing parental approval, and he never got that. And then I can see that 35. He lived in fear all the time. He was always so afraid of Shanann. He said it a lot. He would say, well, I was afraid of her. I was afraid of her. Or I was afraid she'd get mad. If I wasn't in her videos, I was afraid she'd get mad. And it was always this fear. And his mom was an absolute narcissist. There's no doubt. So it seems like he was always living in the shadow. And here's the deal, is anybody who's studied this case, you know that his mom never accepted Shanann. And so she was constantly doing these underhanded digs, dig. And fours, all my fours out there, as much as you don't want to admit it, parental approval is very important to you. And I don't care how much you say, no, it's not. It is. And this woman took an instant hate to Shanann. She could not do anything right, and that judgment stuck. Even to this day, she wrote a book, All My Broken Pieces, and she's like, oh, Chris was such a great guy. Everything was great until he met Shanann. Bullshit. That's not okay. I don't know. I always say it's really tough to be a daughter-in-law. I always thought my mom was great, but she had her issues with certain things. We are their loves. And when our parents feel like somebody is not treating us right, depending on the mental health of the parent, or that they're not valuing us or not taking care of us, they can hold that judgment throughout the entire course of the relationship. And so to not have that parental approval is weighing heavy. And then, so for him also with that 35-8, he always stood by waiting to have to do battle and always feeling like the wounded warrior. And that's what I got from him. So between that, master number 44, which can be really overwhelming. Fours have a really hard time following steps. So they want to go from step 1 to step 5 without going through 2, 3, and 4. And then they end up falling back over and having to start back over again. They don't learn from their mistakes. So they keep running into the same brick wall over and over again. And it's not that they can't learn this. That is the lesson, is to learn to stop repeating your mistakes, to learn to follow steps. Sometimes they go into addiction where they end up in a 12-step program. One way or the other, they need to learn how to follow steps. And then their ultimate want is abundance. And sometimes their idea of abundance is having a multitude of toys, nice houses, cars, boats, anything material. When really the abundance is the abundance of the soul, the wealth of the soul, that sort of thing. So that's kind of weird. So 8s are kind of about getting things, where 4s, their idea of solid is a stable home, food in the cupboards, being able to pay the bills. So you've got both of those aspects playing out here in a 44. And you've got it double because it's a master number. The problem with a 44 is that they can't see the bigger picture. They see the bigger picture and go into overwhelm, so they shut down and they're looking at the ground and they're not looking up to see the blessings that are being offered to them. They're too busy. They're apathetic, so they're like this. frustrated, not seeing what's happening around them. If he's working the 35, he needs freedom at all costs, gets bored easily, and doesn't know how to express himself, honestly. Using more of manipulation techniques instead of outright honest communication. If he's shy and shut down and doesn't know how to talk because he fears being attacked, that's just a shit show waiting to blow up. It's not good. No, sorry. I'm brewing my coffee right now, and I have someone that wants to be a part of that, wants to drink my cream. This is the life of having cats. This is what happens when you have a child who I can't say no to very often. Well, I can, but it just doesn't work because she's going to be a really fabulous either criminal defense attorney or ex-wife someday. Anyways, but she's a strong litigator. And so now she litigated her way into two cats. So now I have 2 cats. Not a crazy cat lady, just a crazy mom. So anyways, this is Gracie. You want to meet Gracie? Say hi, Grace. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Enough about that. Let's get back to this. So that's what his life lesson is interesting. And what's interesting for me is that I was married to a 44-8. And he is my best friend. I love this man with my whole heart and soul. Yes, he is my ex-husband, but we make better friends than anything else. And the thing is that they're really hard workers, and they obsess and worry about work and things like that. But like I said, we made better friends. And here's the thing, and I'm going to get into Shanann's numbers, is you've got to grow together. And it depends on where you were at when you met. And this is for all of you. It depends on where you were at when you met as to where you're going to go as you grow. So keep that in mind. I find that people are so quick to want to label Chris with a certain mental disorder. He's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. He's a narcissist. I don't have a label for him yet because I still think that there's something there to uncover. Maybe he has something brand new that we haven't heard of yet. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's go to Shanann for a minute. Shanann's birthday, Gracie, thank you. 1/10/1984. If I take that whole number of 10, she's a master number 33/6. If I break her down and just use the 1, she's 24/6. Now, I can see both of those in her. A 33/6 is a very interesting master number. That gives us 2 master numbers, a 44 with a 33. That's a lot of energy going there. But she definitely dulled his shine to a certain degree, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. But here's what happened when they met. She was sick. She was suffering with her lupus, and he finally saw an opportunity. Energy attracts like energy. So say right at that point she was functioning at this vibration. He was functioning at this vibration. They came together. As she got better, she's here. But maybe he didn't come back up and he's still here. But she's a 6. So a 6 has, first of all, they lack the ability to see a situation the way that it is because they think that they can change it. Acceptance is very difficult for a 6 because they are visionaries and they are idealists and they think that they can fix you. I was born on the 16th and I have a 16 soul and I think I can fix people. No, you cannot fix people. Thank God I finally gave up on that idea. My 6s, this is your goal. See the situation the way it is without anything needing to change in order for you to be happy. If anything needs to change, you don't like the way the guy talks. You don't like the way he dresses. He's not metrosexual enough for you. Anything at all, you're not going to change that. And if you expect him to change, you're not being fair. Okay? But here's the thing. He came in, he helped her, which she needed. Okay, but here's the thing. Couples, you have to grow together. If you're not growing together, one person's here, the other person's here, and there's that imbalance, okay? But there's a tenacity that happens with the 6 that they don't give up very easily, and especially not somebody who can work a 24 as well as a 33. 33s are saviors, okay? So they do have a little bit of a needy emotional quality that says, appreciate me, see what I do, I'm helping you. They have to know the difference between sympathy and empathy, because a lot of people will come to them with their hard luck story and they want you to get down in their little dark hole and just bitch about their problems all day long. And if you offer them solutions, they don't want them. And sometimes 33s can get down in that dark hole and sympathize a little too much instead of throwing them a rope. I don't do well with those numbers just because I'm very solution oriented. I'm like, okay, you gave me a problem. Well, that sets anybody with more of an intellectual mind together, like, okay, we got to find a solution to this. They don't want that solution. They want you to go, oh, I'm so sorry. And that's not going to work. Okay. So if she was down when he met her and he's down there helping her and doing all that, but then she gets better, that's not going to work well for him. But yet he hung in there, and they formed things together. And I think she kept that idealized image in her mind of what he could be, what his potential was, but he never met that potential. So it's keeping that idealized rose-colored glasses future, white picket fence future in your mind and not realizing that your partner never actually did meet those standards. And that can create a problem. So he's almost living a false reality of trying to be that. He didn't want to be in her videos, but he was afraid that she'd get mad, so he'd be in them, even though he freaking hated it, and he said, I hated it. He was way too shy for that. But for her, Grace, can I borrow that, please? Please? She has this need to lay on anything that I'm going to use, whether it's my glasses, my cell phone, my paper. Anybody who works the number 1 in any capacity, they're pretty insecure, you think we basically are selfish and need to be out there, but actually you have to overcome your own insecurity in order to get out in front of a camera. So I'm sure that she had to do a lot of self-work in order to be able to put herself on Facebook and do those lives all the time, because it definitely doesn't come easy, because she had a lot of them. She was born on the 10th, which will make you fear being embarrassed to the core of your being. So you really have to overcome a lot of stuff. Then she was also a 1 outer personality. So she projected as a 1. And then, of course, her destiny, Jules, was a 91. So there's a lot of 1 energy there. A lot of transformation energy there. So that's really interesting. For those of you who want the answer as to why Chris killed his children, I don't know. You're going to have to ask a psychopath or a sociopath, because unless you are one, you can't think like one. So at least we can all be confident in the fact that we're not psychopaths or sociopaths. So if any of you out there do meet those requirements, please do feel free to let me know. Let all of us know. I don't get that. I think the only thing that can be said is that they came in to serve a purpose, which to not let this case fall by the wayside, to actually get people triggered to think, to try to solve the mystery, to try to get to the heart of this situation, this disorder. And honestly, I encourage you to pay attention to your relationships, pay attention to your marriages. Where are you? Are you guys listening to each other? Are you seeing where you're at energetically? Are you growing together? Are you settling for a situation that's not ideal, that's not where it needs to be? Because if you're not growing together, that allows for that other energy to come in. And in comes Nicole Kessinger. So let's keep in mind, we've got Shanann here, we've got Chris here, and here comes Nicole. And yes, right here. Nicole is superficial in her emotional thinking, so she does not have a strong EQ. She's had her sights set on him for a while. I don't know how long that they worked together before they actually started talking, but she was stalking Shanann online for a while. She was checking out her Facebook feed, and because she was so active on Facebook, every move she made was posted on Facebook to the extreme. So there was a lot to work with for Nicole. She knew everything about her. So this whole, I didn't know he was married is bullshit, and I didn't know she was pregnant. Yeah, she did. She did. So the fact that she lies and lies and lies and gets away with it just pisses me off. But was she involved? I don't think so, because I ran the numbers for everybody up to the day, and I'm not showing an involvement there, and it would show an involvement. The fact that they all have the same path of destiny is very interesting, which means that this, in my opinion, was predestined. And for all of my Christian fundamentalists that think that there's no life after death and no reincarnation, what have you, that's fine. You can check out. I don't care. That is my belief system, because nothing else makes sense to me. So because she was so shallow, this was about winning. She didn't see the ramifications of what she was doing. And that just comes from not being emotionally grown up yet. And she's in her 30s. She should know better, but you have to experience things before you can grow. Honestly, we're all in a state of growing. It seems like every year something new happens. Like we'll go through a stagnant phase, and then all of a sudden something catapults us into a brand new level of emotional awareness. So she's kind of bipolar, weird. And her take from this was, oh my God, this is going to destroy my reputation. Not a whole lot of feeling for what he had done. She claims it was, but it came off as very inauthentic when she talks. When I listened to that, I listened to her tone and how phony. And it was more, what about me? What is this going to do to me? It was very off-putting. I didn't like that at all. How do you not know the potential of somebody? Although, how do you know? You can't tell what somebody's about unless you live with them day in, day out, and you know what they're all about. So then to try to claim, I didn't know he was doing this. I didn't know he was planning this. She was manipulating him from the start. I need to be your first for this and that. And then for him to think, oh, well, first I'm going to kill the baby. I'm going to kill the unborn baby. But to kill his children, I don't know if that was always the plan. I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, this girl had her intentions. Her sights were set on winning, on beating Shanann. She looked at her, and I don't know what her thought process was in there. This girl's a 36'9". She has to learn everything the hard way. She will carry a heavy burden over this at some point, but I don't know when. It may be a long time coming. It's just very, very interesting where she went with this. Let me see. Grace, can I borrow that for a minute? Let me see what her path of destiny. Well, her path of destiny is a 91. I'm very interested in seeing where this goes. From what I've heard, she's been put into some witness protection program and given a new identity, because we haven't heard anything from her in a really long time. So her soul number is a 44-8, which is very interesting because that's Chris Watts' life lesson number, a 44-8. So this, I just have to say this was all predestined. So there's more that's going to come of this. And as I get more information, I want to share it with you. So if I say something now that later gets changed, I'm trying to just stick to the numerological facts right now instead of getting into the details of the case, because that's what everybody's doing. And then as more details come out, then everybody's having to change their story. So I looked at who these people are, and that's what I can go off of right now. And yes, I did take everybody's day, their personal year, and that's going to be a whole different video. We're going to go into that, including the babies, and we're going to go into that, but on a different video, because I'm not trying to take up your whole day with this. So there's more to come, because he needs the spotlight, I think that's why he allowed that woman to write the book. And she's coming under a lot of scrutiny, and she's getting pummeled in the media and in social media and the social justice warriors. And then there's the Christopher Watts fan club who wants to demonize Shanann. You know what? We're all here to learn. And this is what numerology has taught me. We're all here to learn. We're all here to experience. And we all have our own path. And we all have our own lessons. And yes, it's interesting. Numerology is all about what we came here to learn, what we came here to experience, what our heart's desire is, and what we came here to do. And me being the metaphysical person that I am, I always feel that there's more to the story. So then we have the outside influences. So can I tell you that there's a certain number for a psychopath? Nope, I can't. Or a serial killer? No, I can't. There's the outside influences that create our reality. So stay tuned. There's more to come. And welcome to this channel. We're going to have so much fun. All right, I will talk to you soon.